we have another management theory coming up. Till now we have seen some modern management theories, but then let's rewind back and go to the origin of the actual management theory back to 1960s. This theory was proposed by Blake and Mountain when they were working together for a large American company, and then they thought that there is no scientific theory coming up for manufacturing industries. This managerial grade focuses on two major aspects of any company. So I have actually two questions for you. Suppose you are given a particular task to manage and a certain timeline to achieve it. How would you proceed with this? What would be the first reaction that comes to your mind?
Figure out what is to be done.
That's one thing.
Plan out what is to be done.
Yeah. You do your planning. So you develop a timeline and start assigning tasks. But very few times we think of who will be suitable for this kind of task and then schedule according to his skills and his timelines. Now, after you develop a particular plan, suppose your plan is behind schedule and then you have to still manage this project. What would be the first step? What would you do basically?
Allocate key resources.
You have already allocated your key resources.
Check for other key resources, other projects and bring them in.
Okay. So it is something similar to chase everyone and get it on track. But have you thought of that everyone would be busy doing this particular task and it would be done in that particular time? We rarely think about what people are doing. We only think of what the actual outcome should be. Now, what does an organization consist of primarily? This is another question for you. Employees. And what do everyone tries to achieve in a company? Yeah, basically every organization has a purpose, and whatever employees we have, they try to achieve this purpose. The purpose can be a mission or any goal that the company has. When we have people, there are some people who are more experienced, who are more skilled, and there are new people joining this company. So there has to be someone who has to manage all these people. So there comes the hierarchy, and you have your managers who will be managing the subordinates. And this is the main question which this book tries to answer: who is a good manager? But then it discusses this in a different manner. It tries to answer who is a bad manager, and then comes up who is a good manager. So for this theory, these two were professors at our university in 1950s, and they have their PhD in social psychology. So everything was related to people behavioral things. So the actual grid is mapped into a graph. Like the y-axis has the concern for people, and the x-axis will have the concern for the actual production. That is the main purpose of your organization. These two axes are scaled from 1 to 9. So you have 81 different combinations here. Few people would lie at the extremes and others would just fall in between. So here we'll basically try to focus on 5 main types of managers. So in the lower left corner, bottom corner, we have the 1-1 kind of those managers who score 1 on the production and 1 on the people side. On the right hand bottom corner, we have people who stick more to the actual outcome and they have less priority to people. Then on the upper extreme left, we have the country club, which is higher concern for people and low concern for production. Then at the right hand corner top, we have people who consider both of them to be important, and some people who just lie in between of them. Now, if you look at the 1-1 kind, these people have, just as I said, low concern for both people and production. So they are more selfish. They don't care for their organization, nor do they care for their people. So what results here is total discomfort among the employees, then disorganization for the company, and conflicts between their employees. So it results in disharmony. Then we have people who care for their production. So they have high concern for production, but then they again neglect the people. So this is a task-oriented manager who will always keep chasing his employees to be on track and get things done. This particular theory is useful only in crisis management, where you don't focus more on people, but you have to get things done on time. Then these kind of people are opposite to the authoritarian, where they have high concern for people. They are more social. They care for the people, comfort, and how he can keep his employees happy. So the result is it has a friendly atmosphere, but then he neglects the production. So there is very less production, very less focus on the organizational success. And some people who lie in between, they have to balance between their people and the organizational needs. But then what happens is they cannot satisfy both of them at the same time. They have to always balance between these two and then try to come up with a good solution. Then comes the actual leader who has to focus on both his people as well as his production. So this is the ideal situation which any manager will try to achieve, but then since it is ideal, it is very difficult to achieve this. You always have some other priorities coming up. Now we have looked at all the possible major types of the managers, and then just look at some of the limitations which this book is neglecting. Just because this book came up in 1964, it focused more on the production and the manufacturing industries. Then for any manager, the actual scenario plays an important role. He cannot just care for his people and neglect the work, and he cannot always balance between these two. So the scenario plays an important role. Then there are some internal and external factors, like your organizational policies or the internal factors, or your customers or clients are the external factors. They might have some different theories that you should follow. We have looked at all the 4 quadrants of the managerial grid. Now we have to find out where each person lies, so that we can find out what are the drawbacks and then come up with a good strategy. So it gives us 18 questions. We have to answer them on the scale of 0 to 5, and then these questions are actually divided into 2 sections: people question and the task questions. Then after adding all the scores from 0 to 5, we have to multiply by 0.2 and just get the 2 figures. This would be on the y-axis and this would be on the x-axis, and then try to map where do you lie. Once you find out your position, you know what you have to achieve, what are your drawbacks, and how you can improve yourself. The author says that you have to try and be in the 4th quadrant. That would be most beneficial for both your employees and your organization. So this is the final summary of the book. You have to find out what managerial style you have, then find out the quadrant where you lie and find out the areas of improvement, and then just use the management grid. But then he also says that the leader style, 9-9 style is not always useful. You have to focus on the actual scenario. That's it. If you have any questions, related to this.
Why is it multiplied by 0.2?
Just to get a whole number, because it is scale is from 0 to 5, and if you have 9 questions on each section, it would be 45, and you have to map in between. The scale is from 1 to 9, so you have to reduce it to a value between 1 to 9.
If everyone in the company is a team leader, then how does the team work? Even that would be a problem. You said that the author says everyone should be in the 4th quadrant. In the previous session, she said we need a balance.
This this quadrant is for just the managers, not for the employees.
Should be good. Thank you very much.